why I'm avoiding to mention anything like this. We're against anything state, anything authority, anything you can imagine. Only freedom.
Beautiful concept.
Didn't you see the Avengers movie? Loki said freedom is our downfall or something like that. We realize there is no freedom. We're ready to be ruled.
We are changing that. That's true. No freedom. We're gonna change that.
Let's go see a movie.
So here we are, nightfall in New York City. In a little while we'll get a nice sunset that we won't be able to see. But it's cool, it's cool. Because we're not leaving.
So in the capitalist system, poor people are not gonna kill themselves. So what are we gonna do with them?
What should we do with the poor people?
Because they're not killing themselves. We send them to wars
What should we do with the poor people?
and then fuck their minds and psyche when they come back,
Gather them all together
get rid of
in
them.
one place.
like ghetto.
They can join or occupy Wall Street at any time they want. You know? We don't have any restrictions as to who joins and occupy Wall Street.
How are you gonna join this? They don't want the.
It's just like the Constitution. We're just like the Constitution. We don't have any limits to the words you can use, how old you can be, where things have to happen. That's up to the individual. Where you want it to happen. It doesn't say like up to the 10 o'clock. You have freedom of speech up to the the time.
But you have a right of assembly up to midnight. Here,
But,
at
yeah,
least.
I know, but that's not real. That's something that somebody made up. That's not real. The Constitution does not support that.
Well, it's like slavery. It's not real, but they made it like that. Slavery.
24 hours. The U.S. Constitution is in effect 24/7.
Right.
That's for everybody. There's no age limit. There's not. You don't have to be 18 to read the Constitution or to be bound by it or anything like that. You don't. And you don't have. You shall freely speak. There's no such thing as you can't use that word. You can't use that word, or you can't talk this loud. You're allowed to theoretically use any words you want and speak them as loudly as you feel, appropriate. At any age.
And what about permit?
Permits? See, now you're getting into a local thing, where all these
No, it's in the
localities-
Constitution, but it doesn't say permits.
Exactly. See, that's why all these things are debatable.
Wow.
In court, if you want to debate them, you can always bring them to the next court. See, that's the problem a lot of people have, is that they're not willing to bring it to the next court. They get fucked in the lower courts, and they think that that's the end of it. But it's not the end of it. You have room for appeal. You have room to step up to the next highest court.
Do you have room for attorney?
You can act as your own attorney as well,
What if your attorney fucks you?
Do that, for instance.
What if your attorney fucks you?
If your attorney fucks you, you have to say
You
it.
lose the case, man.
Well, you have to say
You don't
it.
even know it.
Yeah, but you can come back with it and say, well, my attorney did this and that thing wrong, whatever, you know.
You wouldn't even know.
You always have a chance to argue, you know, on the next level.
We argue here, my friend.
Well,
That's why we are here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We would be in the courts. But it doesn't work like that.
well, these are minor skirmishes that you see here, you know, arguments between people who, you know, I don't know, maybe they get slighted or I
No,
don't know
people
how
go
they-
to streets because it doesn't work in the courts.
because a lot of people in Occupy, you know, are being slighted, and that's why they're here. You know, because you know, the whole banking thing, you know, everybody's slave, blah blah blah, financially enslaved by debt and all this other thing.
So if we didn't have any banking problem, wouldn't we have any injustice to go to streets?
But there's always going to be injustice where there's a human mind involved, you know, because some human minds are twisted.
You mean conscious?
Conscience? No, I don't talking about conscience. I'm talking about the scheming human mind, you know,
I
that
see.
wants control. You know, even if it's just a tiny bit of control over the next guy, you know, there's always going to be that. You know, there's always these petty irritants that come up. You know,
What about big irritants?
it comes, huh?
Big ones, massive.
Yeah, of course. I mean, those two. You know?
So if we didn't have this banking problem, wouldn't we have any reason to go to streets?
We don't know because we're not traveling down that route. You know?
Okay.
We're traveling down the route that we are traveling.
For example, the inheritance.
Inheritance, right?
That's not a reason to go to streets.
Whose inheritance?
The concept, inheritance.
You mean like passing society on to the next generation?
Yeah.
That kind of inheritance?
Right.
Well, you know, yeah. We should go to the streets for that. That's what we're doing, I think. You know.
I never heard that inheritance in this moment.
You're talking about private inheritance, you know, in a family. things
Like
that.
if my family owns like Rothschild, I'm gonna inherit it, and it's gonna pass generation after generation.
Well, see, that's a sticky problem because you're still dealing about private possessions, you know.
Possessions or what?
Private possessions of
We're talking
private
about-
intellect.
we're
You know,
talking
the
about-
Rothschilds were able to do these things. That shows that they had that intellect to be able to manipulate the masses that weren't quite as privileged as they were. You know, they took advantage of that thing. You know, okay. I don't know if they have a conscience about it. You know, supporting all sides of a war or something like that. You know, I believe it's just a rich man's sport. You know. It's
But if
corrupt
you
as hell.
if you allow inheritance, there is gonna be always a rich man, because nobody can really build up hoard that much money. It goes generation after generation building up. So if you allow it, you're gonna have
Well, the only-
massive power.
The only way to cut into that power is to gather some kind of incriminating information, evidence of crime, criminality, or something like that. Then you have a means by which to interrupt that. You know, for instance,
You mean it's not crime already?
if you're saying that the Rockefellers funded both sides of the war, they sent the fuel to Hitler or whatever, things like that. If the Americans were at war at that time, that would obviously be treason, you know. But since the Americans
But
were
funding
not
both
at war,
sides, funding both sides is American policy.
I know, but it's treasonous though.
Yes, but it's
Because if
American
you're funding
policy.
the other side of the war, then you're actually helping the other side kill your own troops. So
That's nothing the the things that the secret military and the
societies,
secret military actually plan terrorism acts against U.S. their own military.
you know, like false flag operations.
Yeah,
and
false
things like
flags.
that.
It was here last night, and it's always there. And now this Twin Tower attacks, this attack. Before this, there was a Cuban operation which was cancelled. Before that, there was what do you call it? The Pearl Harbor thing. And before that, we always we always have this thing going on. You know.
You know, the way I look at it is it's like gang warfare. You know, in the microcosm, you have a neighborhood, you have a couple of gangs there. You know, you have one gang like trying to control the turf, doesn't want anybody else in there. You know, somebody comes in there and tags a brick wall or something. Right then there's like a big friction right away. You know, like don't come in our turf and tag our wall and that kind of shit. You know, so the world stage is a larger, you know, model of that, you know. But I look at it as basically it's like a gang warfare, you know.